Please kindly confirm you can see my full screen.
Yes, we can see your full screen, sir.
Yeah, we
All
can
right.
see it.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to this amazing section. We've cut across many niche areas in cybersecurity, with networking, SOC, and even networking. However, today we'll be diving deep into digital forensics and incident investigation. So, the first thing we want to look at is what is digital forensic itself. One thing I want us to know is that every crime scene, or probably every crime, every attack actually leaves a traces. On a physical crime scene, you can see fingerprints, you can check for probably any casing, you can check for anything missing. So as in the digital world, criminals actually leave different kind of evidence. And one thing I want you to know is anything you are doing, as far as I know, and it is being designed, is that there is always log for everything you are doing on the internet. There is always a kind of event log for every of your activity on the internet. And that is why nowadays we can have targeted ads, we can have all of things, you can even search for something on Google, and by the time you're seeing it, you are seeing that kind of thing as an advert on your Instagram. This is more like these particular organizations sharing information, sharing logs about you at the back end. So in digital forensics, it is more of you trying to investigate a particular crime. Now, digital forensics is the science of finding, preserving, analyzing, and presenting that evidence in a manner that can withstand legal scrutiny. Now, there is always a formal definition to things and to terms in cybersecurity, and according to the NIST, they describe digital forensics as the application of science to identification, collection, examination, and analysis of data while preserving the integrity of the information and maintaining a strict chain of custody. And I want you to take note of each and every steps in that definition. You identify, you collect, you examine, you do analysis while preserving the integrity. There is always something we call in cybersecurity, we have CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But I can tell you, we also have it in digital forensics, but the one that is topping the table, it's the integrity, because you just have to make sure what you are imaging or what you are collecting is the same thing as you actually met it, but you will get to like understand this is just more of introduction aspect to digital forensics and how you can be able to get on in digital forensics. Now, as I've said, we have three pillars of forensics. Digital forensics rests on three non-negotiable pillars: the scientific rigor, legal admissibility, and documentation integrity. One thing is what you are doing. If Mr. Ostos is actually doing something in Jos or probably in Niger State, I should be able to do the same thing. Probably he did an investigation and send it to me. Okay, this is what I did. I should be able to do the same thing, following his steps, and to be able to get the same thing he actually got. So that is the scientific rigor there. And the legal admissibility is you must be able to defend your analysis in court. What you are doing must be able to, it must be able to be presented in court as probably an evidence. And one thing we always want to do as a digital forensic analyst is we don't want to leave any stone untouched one, and we want to do it with consent. And that is why we always request for any legal documents backing our investigations or to the depth at which we want to do our analysis. And now, documentation integrity. If it is not documented, it did not happen. That's one thing about digital forensics. If it's not documented, it will happen. And this actually means that every action taken must be documented. And it is very, very important um, because we have some people that we don't really like documentation, and even we tend to like just gather up the whole thing that okay, after my analysis, I will come back and do my documentation later. But sometimes you might actually miss some important steps which you don't want to miss. And that important step might be something that the other counterpart might just query you on. And as I've said, so far it is not documented, it did not happen. So documentation is actually very important. Now, when is forensic called upon? We've passed through the phase of networking, we've done ethical working, we've done SOC. We still get to the aspect of SOC and forensics. Now, when this breach happens, when this incidents occur, for you to be able to plan ahead or even know the root cause, you need a forensic analyst to come and do investigation. I'm a lover of aircraft investigation. I love airplanes and aviation in general. One thing that actually like get into my brain in aviation, especially this time of the world, is they use past incidents. They use past accidents to actually upgrade their system. Then they might be using some other radar system or anything, but now they are using more advanced system due to the past incidents that happened, and they were able to do that because of the investigation aspects that actually occurs there. Now, a digital forensic cut across three primary context. We have the corporate incidents. You might be called on to come and do investigation about corporate incidents, probably insider threats, espionage, or anything. Law enforcement investigation. There might be anything happening. I feel like, okay, we need to investigate this particular person, this particular phone, or anything. Civil litigation and e-discovery. You might try and be like, okay, you were able to like discover that okay, Apple is snitching on its user or any other thing. So, and there are a series of things you might do in investigation. You can as well go into trying to like teach people, trying to educate people about the risk of, oh, if you should store data here, it can be deleted, or you are actually thinking your data on Meta or your Instagram is there. However, it is not gone, it is always there. Now, the digital evidence landscape. We have the volatility evidence, which is the RAM context. Don't worry, we dive deep into that one. We have the non-volatile persistent evidence, which are the logs stored on HDD. We have the network evidence, which is the packet capture. We have the cloud evidence, which is the virtual machine. We have the mobile evidence, which is your phone. We have the application evidence, which is your browser history. And this is just where we can be able to pick our evidence, where we can be able to dive deep to go, okay, this is where we want to do our investigation. Sorry if I'm actually very fast because we have a whole lot to cover and do some practical. The volatile, as you know, it's something that actually like it is not static. It tends to go, and that is the RAM content on your system. The non-volatile evidences are your logs, the documents stored on your drive. It might be your hard drive, it might be your SSD. Then we have the network evidence, just like people that are going into networking, we can be able to capture network using a Wireshark, and you can be able to even investigate something that, okay, is there any city communication happening here? What are the things that is going on in this network and all of that? Then you can even go, we can do investigations on the cloud. It can be your virtual machines, it can be your Amazon Web Service. There can be investigation going on there regarding probably what was the name of this? Privilege escalation, something like that. Then the mobile evidence, this is the point, like this is the highest one there. Because almost everyone actually uses phone and it actually abhors a whole lot of things. Then the application evidence, your browser, your applications, your social media accounts, and every other thing. Now, you might be thinking, what are the tools I can actually use in this? Is there any available tools for me regarding probably open source or any other thing? So we have some tools you can actually use to start up as a digital forensic analyst. We have the FCK Imager, we have the autopsy, we have the volatility, we have the Wireshark, as I've said, we have mobile edits. Now, FCK Imager is actually used for disk imaging. We will get to the point to explain about disk imaging. And autopsy is used for analysis. Let me just put it like that. FCK Imager used for collection. You are using it to collect your evidence. Autopsy, analysis, volatility, also for analysis. Wireshark, you can use it to also do your capturing and do analysis there. The mobile edit is a mobile device extraction tools, or where you can be able to like extract everything happening in your device, on your device or in your device. You can be able to image a complete phone and get every like even deleted images, charts, call logs, and any other thing that are happening on that particular phone. Then we have the SIPS workstation, we have the X-ray forensics, magnetasium, Cellebrite, and oxygen. And one thing I want you to know is we have a whole lot of tools And the best forensic analyst is not the one that has every tools, but the one that knows the right tool to use at the right time. Because you might just try and start trying to gather up all of these tools and start, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. However, it is needed that sometimes you need to be able to know um about the tool you are using, everything about it, as if you are even the developer, because there are times that they might even question you on it. Okay, this particular tool, how sure are you that it's able to detect deleted files? How sure are you that it's able to retrieve all these deleted files and there was no manipulation as I've said earlier regarding the integrity. So it is not just about tools, but it is about knowing the right tool to use as at every point of your investigation. Now, there's always a mindset. A SOC analyst will come. I want to protect my network. I'm trying to stay glued to my screen to protect anything going on in my screen. An attacker will come, oh, I want to be able to penetrate the system. Anything I thought I want to be able to get inside it. But as a forensic investigator, we always think like two different people simultaneously. An attacker who choose specific technique to avoid detection, and the defense lawyer who will attack every piece of evidence in court. Now, as you are thinking as an attacker, you always want to think, oh, where can this thing be hidden? All right, you can actually leverage this place. You can do your idle. You can move one particular privilege to another one in privilege escalation. You can try and get in from one account to another. You can bypass authentication, you can use phishing. These are like several aspects where attackers can actually use to come in. However, that will aid your investigation to feel like, okay, I have a case of insider threat. Where can I go? Let me just go to my system. Let me go to USB. It might not be the first, but you're trying to just gather up. There is a phase of you trying to draft out whatever thing you want to do, your whatever steps you want to take in your investigation. But you're trying to draft out, okay, let me go to the USB. If there is an insider threat or probably espionage, there's always a need for data going out or large amount of data going out. Just like this guy, Snowden. Snowden were able to like get it from that USB. Now, and as a defense lawyer, you think of it like, okay, because there's something in forensics. I'll use myself as the bad guy, and us too, sorry, I'll call you and I'll use it as the good guy. Imagine we are working in the same firm, and him being a good guy, people don't like him, and they now try to set him up using his own system, probably for espionage. Yeah. And you were called in as an investigator and feel like, okay, come and investigate this person. Note, the psychology of other staffs is that this person is the one that actually did that thing, or probably they're trying to implicate him, so they actually gang up against him. However, you as a forensic analyst need to come in. You are either there to clarify the issue that this person is the one or this person is not the one. You are not there to actually go in line with what they are thinking. You are not speaking bias, but you are actually speaking data. You're not trying to let anyone influence your whole investigation. That is why when you think as a defense lawyer, you actually think, okay, people are saying this person is the accused person, this person is a criminal. You're saying it is not. How do you want to defend that? You'll be able to defend it. Okay, people are saying this person is actually free. This person is innocent. You are saying this person is innocent. How are you able to defend it? You're able to say some things or provide evidence that be able to like, okay, this is it, and you are right with what you're saying. Now, we have phases of digital forensics investigation, just like we have phases of ethical hacking. We also have phases of digital forensic investigation. Now, digital forensics is not just a single action. It is a disciplined process broken into distinct phases, each building on previous one. You cannot even miss one and go to the other. It is not possible. You have to lay on the previous one. Now, missing or shortcutting any phases introduce risk. Evidence may be lost or corrupted or legally challenged or misinterpreted. So we have the phases there. Now, over to the 6 phases of digital forensics. Just like I said, if you could remember from the definition, I said it is the identification, preservation, collection, examination, doing analysis, and presentation. Now, you always want to identify whatever thing you want to investigate, whatever system you want to investigate, whatever computer or device. Let me use device because nowadays we do investigate smartwatches too, IoTs. We want to be able to identify it. Okay, this is it. Who is the owner? How come this thing actually come into this particular scene? Now, it is very important for you to also preserve because as I've said, integrity is the soul of digital forensics. If you cannot ascertain the integrity of uh, your image folder or image file, then your investigation is nullified. You cannot actually table it in court. It is not possible. You must be able to like preserve it, protect the evidence from alteration or destruction. Now, collection. There is difference between imaging a devices, or let me even say imaging a file and copying a folder. Just as there's difference between erasing and I think is it formatting and wiping. There is difference between you trying to copy and paste and you collecting or using forensic method to collect that particular file or folder. So the collection itself, the process of collection itself has to be forensically sound. Then down to you doing your examination. Examination is you trying to, okay, you've heard about the incidents. Then you just go in, you're trying to gather up your old file, your old folder. Okay, these are the things you're able to examine. Let me examine this system from this system. Let me examine these IoTs. Let me examine this person's mobile phones. Just like people that are actually that you're able to identify that they are part of the investigation. Then analysis. Analysis is you now trying to interpret the extracted data to build the investigative narrative. Now, just as I've said, you are not building narrative based on bias. You're not building narrative based on what the CEO is saying. Because sometimes we tend to be in a very tight spot where we have to choose between the CEO or the data. You have to always choose the data. The presentation is you trying to communicate your findings clearly to the stakeholder. And there's always presentation in all aspects of cybersecurity if you're going to ask me, because there's always a need for you presenting it to people that are not technically sound. Now, we have type of forensic accusation. Now, accusation is also a process of you collecting acquired evidence using forensically sound manner. Process of you collecting your um your file, your folder can also be termed accusation. Now, we have different type of forensic accusation depending on the device or probably the investigation type. We have the live accusation. This is where you collect data while the system is on. I'm sorry if I'm bringing too much stories, but just for us to be able to also like get into how it is being used in the real world. If you've heard of a case where they want to arrest someone that actually owns a dark web, I've forgotten the name of that dark web, but they were trying to arrest him, but they don't want to arrest him while the device is actually off. I think Silk Road or something like that. They don't want to arrest the guy while the device is actually off. They have to like track the guy down to a country, to a new country, and they performed something outside the house just for the guy to come out, and they were able to like monitor him that this particular person's device is actually powered on, is live. They were able to just track him. I think what they did was they try and one woman was driving a car, so she actually hit his car outside. So he just rushed down. He did not even think that there might be police actually looking for him or trying to tail him. So sometimes you need that live acquisition. You need the system to be on for you to collect evidence. There are some evidence, there are some malware that once the device is off, they are gone. You can't collect. There's nothing you can do about it. Now we have data acquisition, and this is when the system is actually powered off. When your system is off, you can be able to like collect evidence from the hard drive. You can be able to image the hard drive. Don't mind my terms if I'm using imaging, acquisition, collecting. It just means like the same thing. You're trying to forensically collect or image a particular file or folder or device. Now, we have the logical acquisition. This is you trying to capture files and folder as the operating system sees it. We have the physical acquisition. This is you can be trying to capture everything on the storage device, bit by bit. Uh, when we actually like go deeper into the forensics more, and when you are trying to like explain about file system, where we talk about NTFS, MFT, the sector cluster bit by bit, we'll be able to understand the bit by bit aspects of the file. Your computer is not just English as they're saying it, it's actually based on ones and zero, like calculation, deep calculations. Now we have the hybrid acquisition. This is a mix of logical and physical technique. We're trying to image probably a folder and also everything on the system. You're trying to just separate your investigation. We also have the targeted acquisition. We are trying to focus on a specific data relevant to the case. So let's say, there is a particular policy in a company that don't bring your own device, something like that. Then something happened, espionage or insider threats. You want to be able to image some of the devices. It doesn't make sense you trying to ask the employee to submit their phones or personal systems. So far, it is not inside the organization. So you're trying to like target a particular acquisition or a specific data related to the case. It might even be a folder on the particular system. Now, let's look at this real world scenario. Imagine this real world scenario actually depicts what you might be able to do through the phases. A healthcare organization is notified by a threat intelligence partner that patients' records from their database are being sold on a dark web forum. You are engaged to investigate. Now, what you might want to be thinking is you map the network, you identify the database server, the web application server, the jump host used for the web admin access, the three web station belonging to the database administrator. Please, I don't know if you are actually following me. What phase of data forensics are you actually doing here? Is there anyone that can just like type that in the comment section? Also, I think I need you to read it if anyone actually answer.
Okay, no problem. I think someone has a question. He's saying, please, sir, is accusation and reconnaissance same thing?
All right. No. Reconnaissance is you trying to gather intelligence about a particular device or about a particular target. But accusation is you are collecting data using the forensic method. You are forensically collecting data from a particular device. Reconnaissance is you trying to like browse, okay, this is me talking. What do you want to know about someone? You just type it on your Google, Big Sam. All right, from there, you're able to narrow down, I think somewhere, narrow down to the LinkedIn. You are doing reconnaissance on a particular target. Okay, he has a website. What are the things running on the website? But acquisition is a particular data. There will always be a device. There will always be something to work on. All right, Ostus, I think there are some comments coming in.
Yes, they are responding to your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
question.
What,
Some
what
people are
was the
saying
answer?
some people are saying identification, some are saying
All right.
reconnaissance, some physical acquisition.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, okay. I
yeah.
think I'm seeing it wrong. All right, so the thing here is it is a different phase. As you can see, I did not mention reconnaissance in the old phases of digital forensics. Reconnaissance is to ethical hacking. When we get to ethical hacking, we do reconnaissance. But digital forensics, we use identification rather. You are not trying to like search about the system. You are identifying thing about a threat that happened. And always have it in mind that something has happened. Before you can be called upon as a forensic analyst, there is an incident. Aside that, oh, they just want you to come and do analysis of every other thing, or probably just come and check on what is going on here. There will always be an incident. So there is something to work with that you have to now identify. Okay, they're saying, okay, a particular there is this particular information going out of the HR department. Now, it is not only for you to now identify, okay, as at what time do you think this thing left this particular folder or this particular system? Okay, this time. Okay, what are the things you're able to get? You enter because there are times that you might need to like go to the site itself. You just log into the site, you're able to see CCTV pointing towards the system. You identify that, okay, there is CCTV here. You are just trying to identify everything that might actually walk around. Okay, is there anyone that actually come in at this also time? So here, you mapping the network is the process of identification. Now, you immediately isolate the jump host from the network. You leave it powered on, but you leave it powered on because it is on. You request the firewall logs going back 90 days be placed on a legal hold, no alteration. You issued a legal hold notice to IT preventing log deletion of system modification. What phase of digital forensics are we actually looking into here? Going, just following the terms. Okay, preservation. Thank you. Now, you capture the RAM from the live jump host using magnet RAM capture. You image the jump host hard drive using FTK Imager with the add where write blocker. You request log export from the database server, web application, and perimeter firewall. What phase of digital forensics are we actually working with here? God bless you. Collection. I think we've even known it since it is just, I would have just try and scatter it, but no problem. In autopsy, you find a legitimate looking schedule task that runs a PowerShell script every 72 hours. What is an automatic debit? The script compresses database exports and use core to post them to an external IP. Jesus. Now, in the RAM dump processed through volatility, you find remnant of credential harvesting malware. What level or what phases of digital forensics are we using here? People will be confused a little bit. Remember, we just left collection. I give you an expo. Examination, yes. Because you are still trying to examine what is inside the file you actually captured. So you are doing examination here. Then timeline analysis shows from the one analysis here, you know that it is analyzing. Timeline analysis shows that the database access began 3 weeks after the specific system administrator credentials were reset, blah blah blah. This is just you doing the analysis. Then you produce a 78-page forensic report. So, and that's one thing about documentation in forensics. You must be able to write everything in a way that anybody that get hold of that particular document can be able to get like follow your footstep and get the same thing you got using that exact particular imaging that you did, the file or folder that you did. Now, chain of custody. As I've said earlier, that in forensics, we actually take integrity very high, and documentation is non-negotiable. The chain of custody is a chronological written record that documents who collected each piece of evidence, when and when it was located or collected rather, how it was packaged, sealed, and labeled. Every person who has processed it is subsequently, every action performed on it, and its current location and condition. So one thing about chain of custody that you're trying to do is you're trying to provide a database of ownership for that particular device. All right, this particular device is being used by the admin. Okay, when was the last time the admin accessed it? This particular time. You confirmed it. Who is the other person that can that also have access to a particular device? Okay, the assistant admin or the accountant, they are both sharing it or something like that. When the accountant system is not good, you sorry, you're able to note down too. Okay, so time, this particular device is actually with you. All right. This particular admin, what time does he or she work? You're able to note the time so that when you're trying to see that something is running 2 a.m., know that this admin is closing by 4 p.m. What is he or she doing at work till 2 a.m.? Probably you want to collect best staff. Who knows? So the chain of custody is you trying to chronological, like you trying to document everything about the device you are working with. Now, the core component of the chain of custody is the evidence ID number. You, you as a forensic analyst, you always have your ID number. If you are structured, there should always be ID number that, okay, this is where I store all my past works, and this is how I do my ID. Some people can just do their ID as so people can use that present day date as their ID, then with their name and location. So I can use something like SAT, Samadhi Ngati Jason, SAT 2026 slash what's today's is 21. Then I just put it. So that is telling me that 26, 2026, 21, or probably the month self. I can just use the name and the month. Then I just be able to like know that okay, this is the evidence ID. The description, okay, this particular system is HP compact, 128 gigabytes, 2 gig RAM, like all the old concepts. Now, the collection date and time, the collection location is not that they sent it through cab and you are saying you went to collect it in the office. Then collector's name and badge. The person that if you are not the one that collected it, who collected it? Hash value. I think that we should have done hashes in the previous videos on YouTube, yes, about hashing. Then seal number, because there's always a way you preserve some connections from going out. If you are all aware of what is happening presently between US and China, when Trump went to visit China, I've forgotten the Xi Jinping or something like that, they said the news in the old blog actually said they did not take their main device outside, and that is how crazy it is in the tech world. And they put it somewhere, and I can assure you that where they actually store that particular device is it might be a Faraday's bag. Faraday's bag is a collection bag that are block signals. When you put your phone, and if your phone is connected to a Wi-Fi around you and you just drop it inside that bag and seal it, it will cut off all connection. Nothing is going out, nothing is coming in. It will stay still. And that's what about Faraday. Then transfer log and storage logs. Now we have type of digital forensic investigation, just like we have in ethical hacking, we have web hacking, we have API, we have mobile. In digital forensics, we have types of digital forensic investigation. You might not be able to do everything. You might just be good in one or in two or in three. Now we have the computer forensics, and this is the examination of computer storage media to uncover user activities, system changes, and any. Let me try and move this thing off here, please. Okay. Now, this particular computer forensics reviews user action, deleted or hidden folders or hidden files, evidence of data exfiltration or tampering, timeline of system usage. Everything you are doing on your system is always logged down to the USB that you plugged in. The time you plugged it in, it's everything you're doing on your system is always logged. Always know that. And the key concept of a computer forensics is the file system, the metadata. There's always a data of your data. Let me be like that. If you have the pictures if you have a file on your system, there's always a data about that data. So that when you delete that original file that you are seeing, you might feel like, okay, this thing is actually gone. But I can tell you it is not gone. Unless you actually rewrite that hard disk. If it is not rewritten, it is still there and it can still be accessed. And there's probability we're going to do that tonight. And we have some primary tools that we can use for our computer forensics. We have the autopsy, FTK imager, and case X-ray forensics. Okay. Now we have the mobile forensics. And mobile forensics is also the extraction and analysis of the data on your mobile phones. Your mobile phones can be accessed, can be analyzed. They can collect every information about it. Not even now that cloud save, they can collect it from your social media space. Now, it actually reviews communication, your location, your social media activity, media files. You just traveled today and you snapped, you posted it. PM. Next tomorrow you traveled, you posted it. Okay, another time you do not travel, you're posting. People can actually like map out behavioral patterns. So, and there are a lot of things I can use to do the acquisition on your mobile devices. You have the Celebrity FED, you have the oxygen forensics, magnetizing mobile edits. And some of these tools are commercial tools. Some are not free, some are free. Now we have the memory and RAM forensics. And memory forensics is extraction or analyzing data from your device, from the memory, from the RAM itself. So this is not mobile device. This is from the RAM itself. So you're trying to analyze what is going on the system as it is running, more like a running process. As this system is running now, as this system is running, we can like just get hold of some of the things that is running. We can just, this is just a way of just looking at it. When you just go to your task manager, as you can see, I have a whole lot of things running, and if I want to close anything, I can be able to close it. Or if there is something I'm seeing like, okay, this thing shouldn't be on, or who exactly is actually controlling this thing, I can get to check for the property. Okay, where is this thing actually coming from? These are running processes on your devices. Let me continue sharing. Now we have network forensics, and network forensics is where you can be able to use a Wireshark to detect or capture a record network traffic going on in probably your organization, going on your system, on your Wi-Fi connection, or any other thing. So, and what it actually reviews attack entry points, data extraction paths, communication between attackers and victims, and suspicious traffic pattern. Someone might be using, there are some companies that they will tell you, once you are inside the company or connected to the company's Wi-Fi, don't browse, don't use the social media, don't use anything outside the company's websites. They can be able to track it with Wireshark. Just get the IP, search for the IP, and do some things in their investigation process. Now we have database forensics, and this is where you can be able to investigate databases to detect unauthorized access, manipulation, or data breaches. These stuff that actually happened of recent in Nigeria. The flow of hacking in Nigeria, data tampering, unauthorized transaction, user access. You can be able to query some of these databases for you to be able to see, okay, what is the actual thing that is happening here? Is there any data going out? What time is it going out? Where is it going to? And the primary tools you can use Forensic Toolkit, you can use SQL Server Log, you can use browser for SQLite. And the concept is just is for data integrity and verification. You're trying to see, is this data truly secured? Or there's another person using our data that we do not know. We also have email forensics, and this is where you can be able to investigate email file folder for probably phishing attempts, to confirm the true sender identity. Let's say someone actually posted something on WhatsApp, on X Twitter, that one time he was doing some things and he was doing some should I say phishing campaign or something like that. He now sent a mail to the workers. It is almost the end of the month, and the headline or the subject of the mail was salary increase. Even I think the lead IT or someone that is actually in the technical aspect click on that email. They open that email, they open that link. Because why? They were able to exploit human psychology with that particular, it's perfect timing. All of this thing is just perfect timing. And for you to be able to also investigate this, you need to be in that mode of, okay, if I'm the attacker, what time will I be able to target this thing and how can I be able to do it? And now, so primary tools you can use in your investigation are the FTK Imager, Mail Examiner, then we have the header analysis to examine the foods or everything about the said email. Malware forensics, and this is something that they study it because malware actually like move in different ways. They can study it in a static mode or probably dynamic mode. Now, the study analysis of malicious software to understand its behavior and origin. There is this particular documentary I watched that I think during one Accra ransomware, the person it was allegedly, they said, from North Korea, and they did not want to do that thing to clear off. But the person that developed that malware did it in a way that when a particular site went live, just imagine that the site that will go live, or probably it's just for you to get a domain, somewhere.com, or let me even find a name. Um, somewhereisfoolish.com. That when somewhereisfoolish.com goes live, I'm using my name so that I won't insult anybody, please. When somewhereisfoolish.com goes live, then this particular malware can actually like clear off. So they tend to like study malware, they tend to study the concept, you can be able to see, okay, how does this thing actually works? What file does it affect? How deep can this malware go or works? And it actually reviews how malware infects systems, persistence mechanism. Is there a kind of opportunity for, probably, is there a rootkit set in this particular malware? Then the command and controls server, the key concept is to check, okay, the statistic analysis, as I've said, you are examining the code of the malware. The dynamic analysis, you are placing it in a sandbox. Okay, just work, affect this virtual machine. Let me see to what extent you can go. Then the primary tools you can be able to use to investigate this particular thing, malware, is IDA Pro, we have Gdraft, Coco Sandbox, Oli DBJ. And also note there are some other tools. There are many open source tools right nowadays floating around in the concept of cybersecurity, especially in this invent of AI and every growing of artificial intelligence. So do not stick to one tools. Now we also have cloud forensics. As you can see, we have several types of forensic investigation, and all these things are actually very, very deep. If you are going into computer forensics, you may be able to understand Windows, you may be able to understand Linux, you may be able to understand Mac. And you being able to understand everything is very, very deep. So that's why I said someone can be, oh, I'm actually a cloud forensic analyst. I don't do computer forensic analysis. And you might actually have the time to study all. And cloud forensic, coming down to cloud forensic, this is the investigation of data activities within the cloud environment. And when we are talking about the cloud environment, we are talking about the AWS, Microsoft Azure, we are talking about the GCP. And as you can see, they also have their own tools that you can use. You have the AWS Cloud Trail to check for, I think, some privileges, to check for logs. In forensics too, we deal with logs. We check to like go back and look at the log about access, access routes. We have the Azure forensic tools. We have the GCP Explorer, Google Cloud Log Explorer rather, and we have the Magnetizer Cloud. And we are trying to review data breaches in the cloud storage or misconfiguration in buckets or anything. Now, IoT forensics, and this is the new oil in forensics. All of us are seeing the whole update from China. Oh, you can be able to buy a freezer and you talk with that freezer or refrigerator. You can be able to get your oven. You can be able to buy your sander and you just input to that sneakers. Oh, I'm going to Nigeria, and you just meet yourself there. All of these inventions actually store data. There is transmission of data, and it can also be broken. And there's always a quote that will always stay with me. So far it is built or created by a human, it can always be hacked. And you can always investigate. And this is a analysis of Internet of Things devices, where you want to analyze your camera, your drones. Yeah, your drones. TV itself. You have some TVs that they do back to sender. Anything you are saying in your room, anybody that is planting anything, they'll be able to hear. So we have a lot of things which actually make the world of forensic very, very interesting. Now it reviews the device usage pattern, your sensor data, your location, your movement, your motion. And this thing actually happens one time. It's just because I'm a lover of documentary. I use this thing to also learn more about how this thing have actually worked. Time passed. A particular device, I think, is it Apple Watch, can dictate your heartbeat, right? Heartbeat rather, your pulse rate. Now, there was a case when that woman was actually running, she went for a morning jog, and when that thing stopped, the device were able to pick that this person's pulse is not active again. Immediately, he sent an emergency alert to the stored contact of that person. And I think one was 911 and the other person was a family member. That something has happened. Just like, okay, this is the scale of what can actually happen. Just imagine, they can be able to also track down the location of that thing. There are some investigation murder cases that they will tell you, oh, this particular person's this suspect car is around the crime scene. Something like that is through investigations of IoTs. Now, investigative insights, you can see the computer shows what did the user do. The mobile device show what did they communicate. The network shows how did the attack happen. The memory shows what is happening right now. The database shows what data was changed. The email shows who sent what and from where. The malware is what is the threat doing. The cloud, what happened remotely. And the IoT, what did the environment record. So these are just like investigator insights to anything you want to do. Now, as I said, we have the forensic imaging analysis. The forensic imaging is cornerstone of every disk and memory investigation. Before any analysis can begin, you must create a forensically sound, verified bit-for-bit copy of the original evidence. As you can see, there is always a forensically sound bit-for-bit copy. It's not just copying and pasting of a particular file. Now, forensic image is a sector by sector, bit for bit copy of a storage medium. Unlike the standard file copy, which you just copy only the file that the operating system presents. A forensic image actually captures the whole of the storage media, both the free, the allocated space, the unallocated space, the slack space. There are a whole lot of spaces. You might just feel like, okay, when you delete something, it's actually go off your drive. Okay, you can use it anytime. But in as much, it actually just creates that place that, okay, this place is actually is free. It is still on that particular hard drive. So as you can see, we can be able to use FTK Imager, disk imaging. You can use FTK Imager for your analysis. And this is FTK Imager for people trying to like get old. Um, this is FTK Imager. This is FTK Imager. You can just download it. It is free. You can just register and download. This is Autopsy. Sorry. This is Autopsy. You can just go to autopsy.com and also download. This is Mobile Edit. Now, this is a paid tools. You can't just like see this all around. This is a paid tool for mobile forensics. And we also have HGS. This is just for you to check for I think the file system, trying to check for I've forgotten the hash value of a thing of a particular file. And as you can see, I did not really have much of the tools. I just have the specific one I want to use at a particular time. If I'm done with this, or probably I need any one, I can just go to my toolbox and just get it. This is to calculate your hashes. Now, back to, we are running very fast. Now, you can just like launch your, it's because of our time, that is why I'm trying to, I would have gone deep into the whole thing. Now you can launch your FTK Imager. These are just process. Don't worry, I'll find a way of sending the slide so that we can be able to go through the process of acquisition, disk imaging. You're trying to image a particular file, and also if there is time tonight, you can still try it out. So we can come back to that. Now, memory acquisition with FTK Media. This is, as I've said, memory acquisition is you trying to capture what is running on that system, what is running live, not just the whole of the drive. We want to be able to capture what the person is doing as at the time you actually go to the crime scene or site. Then Autopsy. Autopsy is an open source platform, independent digital forensic platform built on the slot kit, a collection of command line forensic tools, and it is developed and maintained by the Basics Technology. Autopsy provides a graphical interface of one of the most powerful file system analysis engine available. It is used by law enforcement, intelligence agencies, and corporate investigators worldwide. And that is why autopsy is goated. You can, like, it is goated. That dog-like of a thing, it is goated. Okay, it is dogged. No, no, it is goated. Dogged. Sorry. Let's move on. We have the memory and network forensics, which led us to the volatility and Wireshark for people that have actually like used Wireshark. And on that YouTube video, we tend to see the introduction to Wireshark, where you're able to understand some of these things, why we also need it. Now, RAM analysis. RAM is the most undervalued evidence source in digital forensics. Why investigators dutifully image hard drive? Some people prioritize, oh, I want to image this whole computer or something like that. But they've forgotten that some malware runs only on RAM. They don't run on the hard drive. Once the system is off, it is gone. And there are some informations that you might not be able to even get on the hard drive that it is on the RAM. So a memory capture is essentially a photograph of a computer active state at a specific moment for incident response. That moment captured the system before the system is rebooted, rather. For incident response, that moment captured before the system is rebooted. If I should click on, oh, restart my system now, everything running on my system goes off. Everything in my RAM goes off. But once I'm back again and trying to run another thing, it will just power on. Now, just imagine this scenario. A SOC analyst detects unusual encrypted traffic from a workstation to an external port on IP 443. The traffic volume and frequency suggests to communication. The workstation owner reports no unusual activity, no antivirus alerts are fired, a memory image is taken. Now, this is more like a fileless malware investigation because everything looks normal at first glance. Standard Windows processes, Office applications, browser. But the PS3 reveals the PowerShell.exe was spawned by Windows.exe. Now, when we go deeper into artifacts, there's always a section in forensics called artifacts. When we try and go into artifacts, you will understand where you can be able to get these artifacts, what they stands for, and the cases where you actually need them. So that's one thing about here. Now, a Word document spawning a PowerShell is classic malicious micro indicator. Imagine a Word document and it's running a PowerShell. Ah, like I'm trying to think of how I can be able to like explain further, but it's just off. It's what an opposite. Now you run your command line, the full PowerShell command line shows base64 encoded string. This is just like the analysis. Then you're able to dictate that, okay, something is actually happening, but it is on the RAM or probably even on the memory space. So network forensics. Now, every attacker leaves a trail across the network. They can try to, how do I even put it? They can try to obscure their movements. They can try to, or okay, blur their movements, use series of VPN or everything, but there will always be a trail. There will always be a footprint across the network. Even the most sophisticated threat actor, one who uses the encrypted channel, domain fronting, the inferior C2 infrastructure, there is always a network loss or steps that will be taken before you can be able to access something. Now, the network evidence sources can be captured from the full packet capture, um, NetFlow, IPFix, firewall, proxy, or DNS log. And also, unlike disk and memory forensics, which require physical or logical access to device, network evidence can be captured passively. A network tap or spam port positioned between segment record traffic without the attacker ever knowing they are being observed. So one thing, and I think this is where our SOC analyst is now coming, trying to like, oh, let me be able to capture network from this particular space or any other thing. And yeah, you can be able to like do that even on our systems as we are doing all of our logging. There's this uh browser forensics that you can be able to you can use it to view your browser history. It captures every bit of it, everything going on. If you do mistake to go and do www.darkweb.com, now it will capture it. So far, we are able to connect to any server, either 404 or 521 or 510 or 219 or 419, it will capture it. So that's one aspect of forensic that is actually very interesting. Now, the SOC forensic connection, you might be thinking, oh, this thing is actually similar. This thing is actually the same. How can I be able to differentiate it? I personally, I do say it. Digital forensics is deeper. It takes a longer time because you're trying to investigate on a broader level. You're not just seeing an attack, stopping it, or trying to like mitigate that particular connection. Now, the Security Operations Center and Digital Forensics are like two elite units in the same cyber war room. Different roles, same mission. And the mission is stop threats. For SOC analysts, you actually like stop threats. But investigator, you investigate the reason for that threat. Now, same mission. And if they don't cooperate, things fall apart. Because sometimes if the SOC analysts they don't know that something is going on to stop the attack or to control the environment, they might not need for the digital forensics to actually come in. The SOC is basically the over-caffeinated security guard watching 50 screens at once. I'm sorry I'm using this, but this is a shade to hostels because hostels always disturb me a whole lot. The SOC is basically the over-caffeinated security guard watching 50 screens at once. You're trying to capture logs, looking at different things. And if you've actually seen US room where they call it, I think, situation room or monitor room, where they tend to monitor their um aircraft or something like that, the military aspect, I mean, you will see that they are actually glued to their screen. Now, logs are flying in, alert are popping. Their job is something looks off. Is this an attack or just noise? Do we escalate or ignore? Do I go to my tier 2? Do I go to my tier 3 or tier 10? They don't have time to overthink. If they did, attacker will already be inside making tea in your server room. Because once they start thinking, oh, is this thing right or wrong? Is it possible for this person? But they've seen it, this person is a Nigerian. This IP is from France. This person logged in 10 minutes ago. Even if you are a witchcraft, you can use 10 minutes to fly from here to France. So that's one thing about them, you just mitigate it immediately. Now, you enter into digital forensics. The detective that shows up after the alarm goes off. Hmm. They are not in a rush. We are not in a rush. We are calm, methodological. With slightly suspicious of everything. All right, you said what? You traveled. You are here. Okay, what are you doing in this particular place at this particular time? Oh, I'm not at work, something like that. All right, but your mobile phone location shows that you are actually around the office area 2 a.m., whereas the distance from your home to your office is like 54 kilometers. How come? Do you have a flat tire or something happened? So that's one thing. We try and question everything. How did it happen? So why SOC analyst sales there is smoke? Forensic sales, let me tell you what burned, how we started, and who liked the match. Please, can you just like give us a round of applause? Forensic analysts, we are really trying. Now, just scrolling over to the malware, I need to round up within 4 minutes. Malware-based analysis basis. This is just understanding malware, how they works, and where they can be able to, when we can triage them. Every forensic investigator involves malware. Malware faces the same dilemma. You need to understand what malware does, but getting it wrong, running it an insufficient attention environment can spread the infection. That is why most time it is always advised to run simulations on a virtual machine. If it goes off, the worst that can happen is it affects your virtual machine. You delete it, you reinstall it, not your main system. Now we have the static analysis, and static analysis is just trying to examine the file without executing it. They're trying to check through the source code, and this is the safest form. Okay, trying to look at all this code, okay, yeah, the attacker did this, did that, and do a lot of things. And okay, what file is this? Where is it from? What can this actually do? Then we have the dynamic analysis, and this is where you just push it. You push it in a controlled environment. You push it in an isolated environment. If they want to test a particular vaccine on mice, most times they tend to isolate the mice, put it in a closed environment, test it to see what will happen. While they are checking it, okay, we really start going around, we start moving anyhow, or what will happen during that phase of trying to inject or something like that. And that's for the dynamic analysis. And also, if you could remember, I said if it is not documented, it did not happen. Writing a forensic report, your analysis finds the evidence. Your report make it admissible, transforming technical findings into facts that withstand scrutiny. And this is very, very important because you don't want to say this thing happened here without knowing why it happens, or uh, how you can be able to confirm that this thing actually happened. Now, a forensic investigation that cannot be communicated is an investigation that did not happen. So far, you did not write it, it did not happen. The forensic report is a product that converts hours or weeks of technical analysis into actionable intelligence. As you can see, weeks. We don't just say that there is smoke. We try and detect what type of smoke. So many technically brilliant investigators are poor report writers. I know someone on LinkedIn, she's into forensic report writing. I can tell you personally, from experience, writing forensic reports is actually very, very difficult. If you are not disciplined enough, you will mix a whole lot of things up. There will be a whole lot of repetitions because you're trying to be plain as much as possible, trying to explain step by step. Some people actually go into, oh, I want to be a forensic analyst, but I do reporting. I help you to write your reports. And this is a career limited deficiency. In a courtroom, the report is what gets entered into evidence. It is because you cannot just bring your system and start showing them. You bring the reports and they will be able to confirm, okay, anybody can pick up that same evidence and don't go and do the whole analysis. Now, the core principles of forensic report writing, it must be accurate, the objectivity. The report presents what was found, not what you believe happened. Okay, they said this person actually traveled, but the person did not travel. The person is around the office, is around the workstation. So it did not happen. The data is what you are going to say. Now, completeness, include everything relevant. Clarity, write for your audience, don't write for yourself. You are technically inclined, some people are not. Reproductivity, any competent forensic practitioner following your documented methodology should reach the same conclusion. Any methodology you've written, oh, you did this, you ingest into this is the exact hash value you're able to get. Anybody should be able to like do the same thing and get what exactly you get. And legal defensibility, you must be able to defend it in courts. Time for practical. Thank you so much. Um, Ibrahim, are you there?
Okay, let's get Mr. Ibrahim to, you know, take over the session. Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. That was a wonderful one, and we know that we all enjoyed this session. So we'll be hoping to have your slide as soon as possible, right?
All right, no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, thank you. So, Mr. Ibrahim, you have been asked for me.
Yeah, all right. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so thank you very much, Big Sam, for that wonderful session. So I will continue. I will take over from here. So we are going to work on some practical digital forensic, in which I will be analyzing some DX image and all that. So let me quickly share my screen so we can begin. I'm a stock analyst, but I'm also a bit good when it comes to digital forensics, right? So I believe you guys can see my screen. If you can see my screen, just let me see a reaction. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So let's quickly head our slides. So first of all, I think we are not going to be following it in order because Mr. Sam already explained a lot of stuff. So it's time to get our hands dirty, right? So this is basically what we are supposed to be covering today from my own end, which is what is digital forensics, and I believe Big Sam already covered that. The four phases of forensics, chain of custody, type of forensics. And then I'm going to start from forensics imaging with FTK imager, in which I'm going to be looking at the practical aspect of stuff. And then Dix forensics with autopsy, which I'm going to be using autopsy to perform some Dix forensics and analysis. Then we are going to move on to memory forensics with volatility, right?
Mr.
And then we're going
Mr.
to do
Ibrahim,
some network forensics and packet.
hello, Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Can you make your slide
Yeah,
in
can
full
you,
screen, please? In full screen.
huh?
Can you put your
All
slide
right,
in
sorry.
full screen here?
Until, all right, sorry for that. All right, thank you very much. So, Yasin, we're going to look at network forensics and packet. Or should I even start from the beginning? So let me quickly start from the beginning. Sorry. So we're going to be covering a lot today, but thanks to Mr. Sam, we already covered a lot already. So we're going to just be diving into the practical aspect of stuff, right? So first of all, what is digital forensics? Mr. Sam already taught you guys that. The four phases of forensics, chain of custody, types of forensics. Mr. Sam already covered that. Forensics imaging with FTK imager. He already explained about this, but we're going to be looking at the practical aspect of stuff. And then digital forensics with autopsy. We're going to also be looking at practical aspect of this. Memory forensics with volatility, network forensics and packet captors using Wireshark. We're going to be looking at that also. And then SOC handoff to forensics. What does SOC have to do with forensics? I know Big Sam already explained that, but I'm also going to explain it from a perspective of a SOC analyst. Then malware analysis basics. I'm sure Mrs. Sam already explained that static analysis and dynamic analysis and what's even malware analysis and all of those stuff. So and then we're going to talk about writing a forensic result report. Sorry, I'm going to walk you guys through steps in which you can write a forensic report. And as Big Sam mentioned, right, writing a forensics result is not easy and it's not something we can actually do in this class. But I'm going to walk you guys through how you can actually achieve that. So you can actually try to do that, right? So hands-on autopsy lab, which is going to be your homework, or let me say class, not class, or homework, or your takeaway, right? And then career path in forensics. I'm going to also be thinking about that. So I think we need to keep a lot of slides because let's just move directly to FTK imager because that's what I'm going to be starting with, right? Practical aspect of stuff. So let's quickly explain some stuff before we begin. So creating forensics image using FTK imager. So before we even start, before we even know what is this particular stuff called FTK imager, right? So in digital forensics, FTK imager is a foundational tool. It's being used to create forensically sound copy of, say, digital evidence, devices, and RAM images, right? Its primary purpose actually is to acquire data without alternating the original source. It's not that you can actually analyze this stuff directly from maybe from the external hard drive or the hard drive or USB device, but the sole purpose of this is to acquire the data without alternating the original source. I don't know if you get this. I need to emphasize on this. Alternating the original source. Sorry. Um, Acquiring the data without alternating the original source. This is very important. You need to actually keep this in mind. That's one of the main reasons why you use FTK imager. So we are just ensuring the evidence is in, you know, is undeniable in court. Let me just use this language. Is undeniable in court, right? It's one of the widely and most trusted use imaging tool by law enforcement, corporate investigators, cybersecurity teams, and a lot of people that just do investigation. Obviously, these are the only people who has to do with investigation. There are actually two types of or two parts of this FTK imager, which is the FTK imager Pro and the FTK imager. But this FTK imager is actually very good. Even some organizations don't even use the Pro, so it's good to go. So let's talk about the golden rule. So never work on original evidence. Always create a forensic image first. Investigate the copy, not the original form. Right? It's very, very important. So as we get started with the practical, you guys are going to understand why I am emphasizing on this or why I am emphasizing this. So let's quickly look at the steps in which you can take before we start using FTK imager. So before I even continue, let me quickly start up the tool. So as it's starting, we just so this is the FTK imager. I'm going to also show you guys how or steps in which you can follow if you want to install this particular. So let's just wait for it. So sorry. So before we wait for it, let's just quickly talk about these steps. So first one is right protect device. Right? You know, there's what you call read only on a Word document, on like a normal Word document, right? So that's something similar to this. When you are creating an image, it's very, very important to write protect that particular device, or hard drive, or hard disk, or USB, or let me say evidence, that particular evidence, right? It's very important to write protect the device. So you attach a hardware write blocker before connecting the drive. It prevents any accidental modification. In case you guys don't know, immediately you plug in a USB device into a Windows computer, or computer, there are some automatic changes that it actually does to that particular USB drive right here. There's a particular change. So in order to avoid that, so that's one of the reasons why we should write protect the device, right? Which we're going to also be doing. And that's one of the reasons why you should also use FTK Imager. Then two, create image in FTK Imager. Then we are going to be creating that particular image in FTK Imager. So as you can see, it says file, then create this image, select source, then choose EO1. I'm going to explain what this EO1 is, or yes, EO1 actually, or DD format, set destination path. There's also raw format and a lot. I'm going to explain it when we get to that step. So hash verification is very, very important to verify the hash. So before you create the imager, you know, the hard disk already has a hash. I believe you guys already know what a hash is. I believe. In case you don't know what a hash is, you can just try to check up or search up the topic cryptography. If you just go and learn about cryptography. If you learn about cryptography, you should be able to know what a hash is, right? So hash verification is very important because the hash of that particular hard drive or evidence or USB device, before you use FTK imager on it, or before you use any imaging application on it, it's very important that the file are the same before and after. It's very important actually to know that okay, nothing was being changed or nothing was being altered in the process of imaging the hard drive or hard disk, right? So it says FTK calculates MD5 and SHA-1. So MD5 and SHA-1 are both hashing algorithms, right? So FTK calculates MD5 and SHA-1 hash of original and image, right? Which is telling you, sorry, which is telling you that FTK image actually calculates the MD5 hashing algorithm and also the SHA-1 hashing algorithm of those particular files. You are going to be seeing them when we start. So so actually it says hashes must match proof, not tempered with or something like as I mentioned. It must match. It's very, very important the hashes match, just to prove that it was not being tampered with. So document everything. Very important to document something, which is you document every single thing you do, which is something you're going to be which is what you're going to be showing in court. As Mr. Sam said, you can't just carry a laptop and go to court and show the judge like this is this, or this is the log, or this. No, you can't actually do that. You need to go with a document. So that's why it's very important to document everything. As you can see, record drive serial number, hash values, time, analyst name, which is the analyst that actually did the investigation. So this is your chain of custody entry. I believe Sam already explained what chain of custody is, right? So let's quickly um let's quickly use this FTK image. I already explained what FTK image is, right? So I it's very, very advisable. So if you want to do an investigation, just make sure it is in a controlled environment, right? Just for learning sake. So for me personally, I have a USB device plugged into my laptop. Even though you guys can't see, let me just move it and plug it again. As you can see, they're going to it's supposed to show a notification that a USB device. No, let me just open my file so you see. Yeah, still USB device plugged in. So we are going to be doing our investigation in this particular year. Let's assume this USB device was involved in cyber attack. Or let's say one of our employees found it and it was a scheme for social engineering. I believe you guys already know what social engineering is, right? So there's a type of social engineering in which the attacker can maybe just throw a USB device where the employee can see it and carry it, maybe and try to use it. So you can let's assume this is a USB device I found on the floor as an employee, right? So I handed it over to the security team, which is also me. So I'm going to try to do the investigation on this particular flash drive and see what it contains or what it is actually. So as you can see, this is a USB device, USB-D. You can see it's empty. It's totally empty. Nothing is in it. But before actually I did this, I had a lot of stuff in the flash. I deleted a lot of stuff. So let's see if we can recover those stuff, or we can even see what I deleted. And let's just try to run some investigation, right? I wanted to make it interesting. That's why I deleted everything. I formatted the flash, not even deleted it. I formatted it like, if you just right click on this, you can format. So that's what I did. I formatted the flash or the USB device. Sorry. So this is basically it. So as you can see, this is the USB drive which are plugged in, right? So the first thing we need to do is to create our image, right? Create the disk image. So I'll click on. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you guys. I told you guys I'm going to show you guys how you can actually download the FTP imager too. So I think to download the FTP imager, you just need to type search FTK imager. Although the name of the site is not FTK imager actually. So this is the name of the site or the company who actually owns this particular product or application, which is Estero. I don't know whether it's the correct pronunciation, right? Just click it. So after you click on it, you can see a button that says free download. Just click on the free download. Actually, it's very easy. Downloading tools are actually very easy and straightforward. Right. So let me just quickly walk you guys through it. So it says free download. So we clicked on it. So let's see what this does. So email, yeah, that's my email. Yeah, this is my email actually. So I don't know why it's trying to verify if I am a robot. Wow, it's even the one that's the robot. Uh, so let's see. Yeah, so submit. I think it should start downloading. So I can see it started downloading actually. It's very just 59 MB. Right, so I already have it, so I can just stop that and then let's continue. So after you don't download it, the installation process is very easy and straightforward. Just try to install. After you are done installing it, it will prompt you with I just opened the application, so whatever it is it prompted me with, that's what I want to be seeing. So select please select the source evidence type, like the source of whatever it is you want to image, right? So we have a physical drive plugged in. That's a physical drive because I have something. Maybe you have an external hard disk plugged into it's physical. So logical drive, let me quickly open up my file manager, sorry, disk manager, so I can explain what a logical drive is. Sorry. So logical drive, I can say, is just a partition in a physical drive. Let's say, for example, this is my hard disk, right? It is a 256 gig SSD, right? But it has three partitions. As you can see, three partitions. So let me say one of these partitions can be called a logical disk. So that's basically a logical disk or something like this. This is this on a no this on a unallocated space. I can't call it a logical disk. So let's say just for example this system resolved and this they can be called logical disk. So that's basically an example of logical disk. So let me just minimize this because I'm also going to be referencing something with it later on. So let's choose physical or that's what I'm going to use because I plugged in a USB device in which I'm going to be investigating or in which I'm going to be imaging. Well, okay, this way I want to be selecting the physical device. So I think we only have two physical devices in this computer or in my laptop or in this particular computer. We have my own hard disk, which is this Samsung SSD, blah blah, all this stuff, and then we have this SanDisk Cruiser Blade USB 16 gig. It's a 16 gigabytes USB was showing 15 gig for some reason. So yeah, so this actually backslash indicates that yeah, this is a physical disk. So you can just click on finish. So after we click on finish, as you can see, yeah, this is it, blah blah image source, and then we can add image destination, right? So this is very important for me personally. I like to save it, or I like the imager or the imaging files to come as EO1 files, right? It's the most widely used, file formats when it comes to imaging files. But most people, you can also use WA RAW, which is this WA stands for RAW, Smart, EFF, right? I can't actually explain what this AF is and this smart because, as I told you guys, I'm a SOC analyst. I'm not a digital forensic. I just have a lot of knowledge about it, right? So you can try to make your research, but I personally believe and I know that this EO1 is the most widely used file destination when it comes to imaging. Right, so let's choose EO1. Then next, and then let's select a key. Let's type in a
Yeah,
keystone, which is very important. Mr.
Mr.
Sam, I think
Idris,
we should select it. Yeah.
Mr. Idris, sorry. Okay, I think some of us are saying that your speed is on 2.5.
Wow.
That is, yes. So I don't know if you can tune down a bit. Thank you, sir.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. Let me just quickly look at the comment section before I continue, so I will know. Um. Uh. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, a lot of messages, so I can't actually go through all the messages, but I'll try to calm down because actually we have limited time, right? So let's quickly let me just calm down and speak. So case number, right? It's very, very important you know you are very cautious and you're very intentional when it comes to case numbers, right? Sorry. So when it comes to case numbers, as I was saying, it's very, very important you are very intentional when it comes to case numbers, right? So let's see what case number should we put for this. Let's say 001, since this is a first case we're going to be investigating. Then evidence number, let's see 001, and then on today's 21st, right? 21st, 26, which is 2026. Let's just leave it as evidence number. Unique description, let's see USB forensics. Let's see imaging, or let's see USB imaging examiner. Yeah, sorry, it's raining right here. It's raining right here. It's raining right here. Sorry for that. So as you can see, examiner Ibrahim Idris. You can type in your name. Yeah. So notes. You can just add a note. So this is the USB device found by an employee at the parking lot. Let's see, at the parking lot, right? So fair enough. So let's click on next. So image destination folder, where do we want to save our image? Right. So let's quickly browse that. Let's see, should we say documents? I have a lot of some in documents, so it will be hard for us. But let's just pick good no. Let's just save it in document just to be formal. Then let's create a new document under the document and then name it USB imaging. Or let's say USB image. Right? Yeah, so USB image. Just can see USB image. So this is where I'm going to be choosing the name of our file, like our USB sorry, our imaging file, right? So let's see let's just say USB image one. So let me quickly explain something right here. Right? So imagine it's not going to create only one file, it's going to create a lot of image files depending on the size of our hard disk or our physical device, right? It's going to depend on our physical device. So it's going to maybe create one, which is USB image one, USB image two, USB image three. When I'm done, you're going to see it, like you're going to guess what I'm trying to say. So let's quickly talk about this. So image fragment size in MB. So each file should not be more than 1500 MB, which is I think 1.5 gig. Yeah, that's 1.5 gig actually. So each file should not be 1.5 gig. Let's say, for example, you are dealing with hard disks or 1 terabyte hard disk. This is going to be very, very important because if you compress or if you try to save all this imaging data in one file, it's going to be too heavy to move it around, maybe send it from one computer to another, or forward it and do stuff with it, right? So that's why it's very important to fragment it so it will be in different fragments instead of just one file, different file. Each file has 1.5 gig until it's the image is complete, right? So sorry for that. So that's it actually. Image fragmentation 15 MB. Then compression, we don't want to compress anything because we are not even dealing with a huge amount of data or hard disks. Then finish. Let me just quickly cut this down. So that's all you need to do for here. Then make sure this box is ticked, right? Verify images after they are created. Just quickly, like a quick verification. Then let's start. I think if I am correct, if my timing is correct, this should take 10 minutes um to be done before it's done imaging it. Right, it should take exactly 10 minutes or so, close to 10 minutes, 9 to 10 minutes, because I've tried it using this particular USB before. So let's wait for it. So before these 10 minutes, let's quickly answer some questions before we even continue, because I know you guys have a lot of questions. And sorry for my speed. I think I'm still moving fast. That's actually naturally how I speak. I don't know why I speak. I'm too fast. Sorry for that. So you can quickly ask your questions, guys, before we continue. Just ask your questions. If there's anyone who has any question, you can just simply type it. Let me just quickly wait before you ask any question. Yeah, so someone is asking, can we do all this in autopsy? No, actually, you can't image a file in autopsy unless you use the tax as the file, sorry, the hard drive directly, and which is not advisable and which is not a good idea actually. Yeah, thank you very much. It's my pleasure, Mr. Destiny. So, if you have any question before our this before this finishes, quickly ask a question. So I think this 1 minute, we have nine more minutes. So please ask your questions. Ask your questions in the comments, or you can raise up your hand so Mr. Also can maybe give you the mic and you can ask your question or speak. Yeah, it's possible actually to just go into digital forensics direct, as long as you're actually very good with cybersecurity basics, right? But for me personally, I think it will be a very good thing if you pass through the process of being a SOC analyst and then a digital forensic professional or specialist. Like someone like me now, I have the goal of being a full-time digital forensic specialist. But for now, I'm still a SOC analyst. So it's just like a different career path, but they are similar. If you already know SOC, it's going to be very easy for you to know digital forensics, or to grab on or catch on to digital forensics. And if you know digital forensics, it's going to be easy for you to move on with SOC. Yeah, you must not start from SOC tier one. Digital forensics is a field on its own, just like ethical hacking and SOC, and also GRC. That's also how digital forensics is, right? So you can just go directly from being a beginner. When you're choosing a path, then you choose digital forensic and start learning it up, and you know that's it. Yo, sir, Omoni, Mrs. or Mr. Omoni, yeah, I will advise you to not download FTK Imager on your host system, right? Especially if you are using it not for work, if you are using it for lab and learning. I will strongly advise you not to install it directly on your system, on your host system. You can install it on Linux on in your virtual machine, or you can install it um, sorry, or you can install it on a Windows computer in your virtual machine. Just make sure it's isolated. Or you can install it on a laptop you don't actually use much for work, something like that. Like for me now, for instance, I can use my entire disk. The reason why I'm not even using my entire disk to do this is because it's going to take a long time. As I see, this is just a 16 gig RAM, and it's going to take us at least like 10 minutes, right? So that's why I'm not going to be using to just so wake up with download the file. Sorry, please, like which file to be precise? Which file? If you are talking about FTK image, I just showed you guys. You can just head on to the Xterra website and then click on, I think, download, free download right here. There should be a free download button right here if you are newly entering the site. So just click on it and download the file, right? So FTK imager, it's actually I think 52 MB, 57 MB. Sorry, it's just 57 MB actually. It's not. It's autopsy. I think autopsy is 1.2 gig alone. It's it's not that heavy. You can just try it download. let's quickly wait for this. Let's quickly wait for this. So I should download the tool because I think you need to the tool before you can even do the assignment I'm going to be giving you guys. Right, it's very important. You need to download both FTK image and autopsy. There are a lot of digital forensics tools, but these are like the main ones you guys should know because we're talking about big. If I see I'm going to go and talk about the rest of the digital forensics tools, I want to spend hours in this class. So I want to work with time so we can quickly wrap things up. So can we practice with if you are not downloading your PC? Yeah, you did not get me actually. You can download it in your PC if you are not actually if you are very careful. I just said I would advise you not to because it's if you since you are new to the tool, you can actually do some stuff that will damage your PC. But if you don't have any important documents, like if you don't have any important documents in your laptop or in your computer, you can just actually do it. If you can actually just do it in your computer, or if you cannot do it in your computer, use a virtual box. Virtual box. I believe you guys know what the virtual box is. Use a virtual box. Yes. Someone replied. You can use a virtual machine. Virtual machine. Sorry, virtual box actually is part of like an application that allows you to run a virtual machine. Not yes, you have to download Windows on VirtualBox or Linux or Ubuntu.
Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
So I think if they are gonna like go through these steps in class, I think this one you don't really have much, depending on the type of USB they want to use. They can still use their Windows to practice and to be able to know the app more better because some people only know the virtual machines that the machine that is actually on their virtual machine is only Kali Linux. So they might be having issue with the GUI interface of Kali Linux. So probably they just start with Windows, then any other time or probably they want to go into the reinvestigation, they can now use the window on their virtual machine.
All right, yeah, thank you very much, for that, Mr. Sam. So as you heard what Mr. Sam said, he is a digital forensic specialist or professional, so you can actually go with that. Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Yeah, so where's the best to download FTK Imager, Ubuntu or Kali? Yeah, I'm not sure because I've never used FTK Imager on Ubuntu or Kali. I've only used it on a Windows computer. So for me, I think Windows is the best.
So
Yes.
sorry, the thing is there's always more like a specific tools for the operating system, right? In as much as Kali has, I think Kali has produced autopsy, but for FTK Major, I don't think there is GUI FTK Major for Kali because even Kali, while you want to do your imaging, you use DD. It is a command line that I use for Kali. So I will just advise you that go for Windows. If you want to have this interface, FTK Major interface, go for Windows.
All right. So you heard what Mr. Sam said. Yes. Ola. I think your answer is yes. She said, or he said, can we use the FTK Imager this way to retrieve or access data from a phone through USB transfer method? I think Mr. Sam will explain better. Mr. Sam.
Yeah, I'm trying to like understand the question to
Yeah,
retrieve
so
or
she's
access.
or he's basically asking like, can someone use a USB like a USB cord and connect it to their phone, and then it will show on the computer. Can you?
It will show just like the years you did now.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Manuel, what I'm saying is this. You can have FTK Media on your machine. If you are using Windows, you can have it there. But if you like to work in your in your station, in your workstation, you can install Windows on your virtual machine. Then from there, install FTK Media on your virtual machine. That means you're having a Windows inside your Windows, not that you're having Kali inside your Windows system.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sam. So, is there any more questions? You can just throw in your questions before this is done. So, we are at 10 minutes. I think 11 minutes, as I said, 10 minutes or so. So, let's see, 11 minutes. I think 11 minutes should do the job,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Yeah, so actually this process doesn't matter whether your system is fast or not actually. It doesn't matter. It just depends on the size of what you are trying to image. Yeah, so someone says, please, why are we creating the image? So actually, I want to get to the reason why I already explained the reason why we're creating an image, but I'm going to explain it like so you can actually physically see it. So this is the process actually. I'm currently walking you guys through the process of creating the image. I don't know if you joined late. Uh, I think this is recorded. You can actually check it up on maybe on YouTube after the class because we have limited time. So let's just want let's quickly finish. So I think this is done. So it's just verifying actually. Don't forget to actually click or ask it to verify for us. So you can just simply close this and then wait for this to do its thing. Oh, it's here. So sorry for that. Sorry for that. Alright, so reason why actually we are imaging this file is so we don't alter with the evidence. So we don't actually alter with the evidence. So imaging it is just creating like an exact copy of that file. And also FTK Imager allows you to see things in that particular device or drive that you can't actually normally see in you know through File Explorer or other file managers, right? So that's one of the reasons why we image files or why digital forensic specialists image files or sorry image devices or evidence. Yes, actually, if the device, even if the device was not a physical one, that's why we have a lot of options. Even I think a folder option, you also have a folder option. So it must not be a physical device, right? Even RAM, you can actually image a RAM. I think we're going to be doing a RAM, sorry, RAM imaging, something like that. No, actually, we are not imaging the computer into the USB, right? We are just making a copy of the USB itself. I don't know if you understand, into the computer. We are making an image. Yeah, I don't think we will be having a coding fundamental class. Yeah, you can't actually use FTK Imager to recover, data like deleted files or something like that. You can only use Autopsy for that. You can only see, I think you can see deleted data in FTK Imager if I'm correct, and then you can recover it using Autopsy, right? So this is not done. Can we call this preservative piece of forensics? So, Mr. Sam, I think Mr. Sam should answer this question. So, someone is asking, can we call this preservation phase of forensics? Mr. Sam,
No, no, no. This is collection or
is
acquisition. Preservation is you trying to like keep it so that any other person won't tamper with it or there won't be any other connection with it. And
yeah,
let me just like quickly just give brief explanation about the acquisition because some people are actually confused. So the main reason why we want to do a forensic images is because we now that USB, assuming it is from a crime scene, it doesn't really make sense working on it there. We have to, sorry, I want to, we have to make a forensic image to actually get a bit by bit copy, just the exact thing inside that USB. So what you are doing is you are trying to create a twin version of that USB while maintaining its integrity. So every bit down to a single file on that USB, main USB is actually in the forensic image.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sam. So I really actually want us to. So before this is done, before we get to answering question, let's quickly move. Let's quickly explain what autopsy is and how we can actually use it, like what it uses before we get to that part. So we don't immediately it's done. We are done with FTK image. I will just move directly to autopsy because my laptop is a bit down and we don't have much time in our side, right? So
Okay. Mr. Idris,
digit
Mr. Idris,
yeah.
are you done with the hands-on?
No, actually, we are not done with it. We are not done with it. Before this is
Oh,
done, I mean, this
okay,
is
okay,
loaded.
okay.
So just to wait for it. We are just starting actually. So let's quickly explain digital forensics with autopsy, right? Examining disk images for evidence of user activity. So actually, autopsy goes deeper when it comes to disk analysis, right? It gives user activity, browsing history, deleted files, a lot. And if there's it's also going to show you if there's any connectivity, or if there's if there's stuff like C2 beaconing, which is command and control beaconing in that particular hard disk. I don't know if you guys know what C2 is, but as a stock analyst, it's very important you know that, right? So what autopsy actually reveals, right? So first of all, we have deleted files. Files removed by the user, still recoverable from unallocated space. Let me quickly explain what it means or what actually happens behind the scene if you delete a file in a computer, right? So you guys can get to understand this better. What happens if you delete a file on a computer? So first one, if you delete a file, it doesn't mean that the file is gone completely. What that particular system does is that it marks that space as available space. So when there's new data coming into that particular device, it's it will be like, okay, yeah, there's actually available space. If there's no data or if there's nothing covering up that space, then that particular data is still available. It's just that you need to use tools like maybe autopsy in order to get those data. So I hope you guys actually understand what like how what goes on behind the scene when it comes to deleting files. And also there's something hackers use when it comes to, so instead of just deleting a file. I know this in Kali Linux because there was a time in which I was an ethical hacker actually. So I was into ethical hacking before. So this was called clearing of tracks, right? So after hackers are actually done doing whatever it is they want to do, they clear their tracks. So digital forensics and SOC analysts can't actually find them, or no matter the investigation they're going to do, they can't actually get anything from that particular investigation. So what they do is, instead of just deleting files, maybe just deleting it the normal way using maybe RM, instead of using RM minus RF, or using RM, right, or using RMDIR, what they do is they use a command called purge, PURGE, purge the name of the particular file. That overwrites that particular file from the disk entirely, right? Just like it never existed. So that's what actually hackers do in order to, completely delete a file. I don't know how that's possible on Windows, but I believe it's possible. But still, I believe it's possible, or there's a way digital forensic specialists can actually recover those particular files. Maybe that's actually some advanced stuff or advanced techniques. So let's just quickly continue. So artifacts. You can actually browse artifacts. Artifacts are like um let's say evidence. Let me say artifacts are also like evidence, like browsing history, cookies. Yeah, cookies that are being saved on that particular browser, downloads, catch page, who visited what, like pages you visited, a lot of stuff about your browser, right? And also it gives out user activity, recent access files, like the time it was being accessed, the last time it was being modified, a lot, USB connections, and also installed programs and also deleted programs. Then timeline analysis, every file access, creation, file access, and modification with also timestamps, right? This is what autopsy is capable of. It examines the disk images for evidence of user activity, right? So autopsy workflow. Let's look at how autopsy actually works, like the workflow. So first of all, when you open autopsy, you need to create a new case, or you need to create a case. Then secondly, you need to add a data source, which is selecting the disk image. Like for example, now we are creating a disk image, right? So we need to select this particular disk image we're going to be creating from FTK Imager. And then we want to run ingest modules. There are a lot of modules in autopsy, right? The modules allow some specific actions, right? There are some modules like keyword search, which allows you to search for some stuff, hash lookup, I think iOS. Sorry, there are a lot of modules actually. I forget some because I told you guys I'm not actually always doing forensics work because I'm a SOC analyst. So yeah, there are a lot of modules. Just know that modules actually allows you to do some particular stuff, right? There are some modules that allows you to access deleted files. There are modules that allows you to check for browsing artifacts. There are modules that allows you to check for user activity, timeline analysis, and all this stuff. And then browse results by category. Sorry, you can just browse the results by categories, whatever category of results or whatever results you are looking for. That is photos, videos, whether there's any connections, location, maybe geolocations, and all this stuff. You're going to see that actually when you open autopsy. So also allows you and to tag and bookmark artifacts or evidence, right? Whenever whenever you see artifact, just know that I'm talking about evidence. Then six, it allows you to export findings for reports. One thing I like about like the reports on whatever it is you found, HTML, I think HTML, PDF, and I think it's only but so far I've only extracted reports using HTML. I'm not sure if there's any other sources, but I think there should be other sources like maybe PDF and document. So let's quickly look at that. Sorry for that. I call Kim. So I think this is done. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the hash value as I said, computed hash. This is as you can see, this computed hash by this stored hash actually the same. Report hash, they are the same. So verify result match. This means they match. So there's no problem. And then let's check the SHA-1 hash. Computed hash match.
Mr.
Was
Idris, can we
stored
make it
verified
on
hash.
a full screen? Can we make it
Huh?
to a full screen? Is it possible to
All
make
right.
this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Right. So I can see we also have this SHA-1 hash. Computed hash, it's the same with the stored hash, report hash, and everything. Then verification result match. Everything is 100% match. So we are good to go. So let me quickly show you guys what we got. Oh, sorry. So I think we saved it in document, right? If you guys did not forget, we specified we created a document, right? A folder, sorry, with the name USB image, and in the folder we have our files or our imaging files, right? As you can see, none of them is more than 1.5 gig, as I mentioned, right? So, and we have this, can just simply click on this to get a summary of whatever it is you got or what you are doing. Right, you have created by exterior FTK imager. This is the version of the FTK imager. It's also very important. Case information acquired using blah blah blah, which is the information, case number 001, evidence number, notes, and just this is like a summary of whatever it is you got or what you're actually doing. This is the encryption. Oh, sorry, the hashing algorithm, MD5 checksum, and then the SHA-1 checksum. Image information acquisition start. This is the time start and also the time it ended. Segment list, like the list of the all the files. As you can see, automatically it created EO1, EO2, EO3, EO4, blah blah blah. So you need to actually verify whether it's in sequence, like the numbers align. It's very important to actually check that. So basically, this is just like a summary of what we got, and these are the images, like the file image. So we are done imaging this. So let's quickly mount. Sorry, no. Should we add evidence item? So let's quickly first of all add the evidence item, right? So we can actually add it to our evidence tree and take a look at, so we can just take a look at it and move or navigate around it. So let's see. No, sorry, we need to actually mount it or create an image. Sorry, we need to actually mount that particular image we created, right? And you guys will not understand what I mean by mounting the image, but when I mount it, you're going to understand what I mean by mounting the image. So then we need to mount. Sorry, we need to then mount that particular or the particular image we created. So you need to do after you are done creating the disks, you need to mount the disks, right? You can just simply click on image mounting, then image file. Just select the image file. So it's being stored in documents. Sorry, that's actually a long cut. Yeah. So it's being stored in documents, USB image. All you need to do is just to select the first file, right? Just the first one. You don't need the rest. Then open this. So after you are done opening this, then it's very important you select mount whether you want it to be mounted as a physical drive or a logical drive. So personally, I prefer logical drive. It's more easier. So logical drive, then drive letter, which is the letter or the name of it's going to be displayed in the drive, so you can be able to identify this particular drive, right? So mount method read only. It's very important, or I personally advise to leave it as read only so you can't tamper or no one can tamper with it. So whatever evidence or data that's in there cannot be tampered with. So let's leave it as read only. So let's quickly click on mount and see what we got. Or let's see. As you can see, USB E. Oh no, sorry. Is G. It just actually select to choose what I'm. I think it's reinserted the memory. I don't know how to explain this. I will not say physically. I did not actually physically remove the memory, the USB drive, and put it back, but it actually automatically did this. So as you can see, this is it. We can actually it's mounted. So let's quickly check our USB or File Explorer whether it's actually mounted, so we can verify. So we click on this PC. As you can see, I think the name is G. Sorry. I see it says next available G, right? Letter G. So that's how I'm going to identify it. Letter G. You have nothing with the letter G. I don't know why it's not showing letter G. But actually, one of these one is the physical copy which I plugged in. One is the copy I made, like what I just mounted right now. See, we have the D and the E. I can't even remember which one is the original, but one is so. How can we verify which one is the original? If you can remember, I selected read only, so we can't modify, we can't delete anything, and we can't modify anything. Let me quickly right click. You see, there's no delete option or there's no search option. So let me quickly right click on this, and it says, as you can see, we have format, eject, and just some obvious options that showing us that actually this is not our logical drive we just created. So this is basically our logical drive. So let's quickly so we can close this. So what we need to do next actually is to add evidence item. That particular sorry, that particular drive we mounted, we need to add it as our source, sorry, source evidence, right? So it's a logical drive, so you can be able to navigate through it actually and see what's in it. I think it's, yeah, it's the E, right? USB E. Yeah, this is it. So let's click to finish here. As you can see, it's being mounted. This is some hash you can't actually understand this. So this basically it. You can just simply click on this. I'm sure we are not going to get anything. So I say this unallocated space actually it's deleted folders or deleted files. As you can see, as I told you guys, you can be able to see it, but we are not even seeing. It's not even making sense right here. Like the data we are seeing is not even making sense right here, but we can make it make sense using autopsy, right? So these are all deleted files. As you can see, unallocated space. I explained to you guys the concept behind deleting a file, right? So this unallocated space. So basically, this is the files that are being deleted. I had a lot of files that I deleted from this particular flash drive or USB device. So these are the blah 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 blah. This is the size. As you can see, there a lot. It's a lot actually. And don't forget, I showed you guys that the flash was actually, or the USB device was actually empty, right? Normally, if you go to your Windows Explorer and click on USB drive, there's nothing in it. I can see this. We have also this. I think these are just files that runs the USB device or something like just like the file system of this particular USB device. So let's quickly move on to autopsy. Right. So we are done with FTK imager. We have extracted the well, we have created our image, our USB image, right? And yeah, this is the evidence view, or sorry, the evidence tree view. So you can see it. There's a lot of things inside. So let's quickly move on to autopsy and see what you can get from autopsy. I believe I already explained what autopsy is. Actually, autopsy is a very, very powerful tool. So after we talk about autopsy, I want to also talk about sorry, I've forgotten the name of this one. Is it fatality or sorry? The name of the two actually skip my mind, but I like to call it vitality because that's the easiest. So let me quickly pick up or answer a call.
Volatility.
Yeah, thank you very much. Volatility. It just skips my mind. So we have just limited. Let me just quickly show you guys what FTK. First, what you need to do is to create a new case in autopsy, right? As I showed you guys this particular thing in this slide. So I think I need to create the case before I can be able to expand it. So create a new case. So case name. I need to impute a case name. So let's say USB image analysis. Right, so USB image analysis, that's basically what we're going to be calling this case name, right? Case type single user or multiple user. Maybe you are trying to investigate with your team, you can just you know go with multiple user or something like that, but I don't have that option. So case data will be stored in, yeah, so this is the file that's going to be stored. It's going to be stored in our documents folder. Fair enough. Then next, yeah, so this is something I just imputed earlier while it was in the file. So case number 001, so same as the FTK imager. The name, yeah, this is my name. So I am the person who's going to be examining it, or I am the examiner. Sorry, so I'm going to. Should I even type in my phone? Yeah, I should type in my phone number because obviously you guys can have access to my phone number because we are already in the same group. So all right, so yeah, so then email. Let me quickly type in my email. Yeah, so notes. Let's see. This is a USB um image analysis case. So the reason why I'm calling this analysis is because we're just going to be analyzing stuff. We're not actually doing the real, end-to-end investigation. Let me call it. We're doing the investigation, but not end-to-end. We're just going to be analyzing, seeing some stuff. So I'll show you guys some stuff and all this stuff. So that's why I'm just calling it analysis, right? So organization not specified. You don't need to specify on any organization because I'm just like one, right? So finish. Let's wait for it to finish creating our database. I think this should take like 1 to 2 minutes. If I'm not 1 minute actually, it doesn't take much time. So before this, in case the time goes, let me just quickly show you guys what you guys are going to be doing as an assignment. So you can simply or quickly screenshot that. Yeah. So this is what you guys are going to be doing as an assignment. So I think you guys should just screenshot it. So someone can just screenshot this and send it to the group. Let me just open this. Yeah, someone can just screenshot this and send it to the group. Let me just give you guys like 4 minutes or 3 minutes.
Okay, are we not going to get the slides?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Actually skipped my so you're going to get the slide actually. I'm going to be sending the slide. So I think this is done. So let's wait for it. I telling us to create a new case. What? All right. So I don't know if you guys can see it because I can't actually expand this. So after that, we actually did some settings while creating the keys, like inputting our examiner's name, phone number, and email address, and also the case number and the case name and all this stuff. So right here, we need to select the host and also the source, the data source, right, which is the image we're going to be analyzing, or yeah, the image we're going to be analyzing. So we just leave this. I think we should just leave this as generate new host based on the data source, meaning based on the name of the file we are imputing as the data source, right? Hosts are used to organize data and other data, blah blah, and all this stuff, right? In SOC, I would like to compare this with index in SOC, so you guys can understand it. If you guys know what an index is when it comes to SOC, so you can just go next, and then the type of file or the source type you're actually imputing or are going to be imputing, it's a Dix image, right? So Dix image or VM image, which is a virtual machine file. So it's a Dix image, so we can go with this one. If it's a local file, logical file, unallocated spills file, let's say you want to upload an all unallocated spills file to do some deleted files analysis or all this stuff. So you can just choose this and click on next. That's basically what we're going with. So yeah, path. So this is the path the source type or the document is stored. So it's been stored in our document folder, and then I think yeah, USB image. So the USB image analysis you are seeing at the bottom is for the case, is for autopsy case, while this is for FTK file. So you just need to choose this first one. You don't need to choose the rest. As you can see, it did not even show us the rest. So this first one is enough. Then open. Yeah, time zone, Africa, Lagos. Yeah, size, sector size, auto detect. That's perfect. BitLocker password. So BitLocker actually is an encryption. It's an encryption feature in when in Windows. My system actually has BitLocker encryption. If you say I'm using my drive, I need to input my BitLocker password, but I'm using a USB device which doesn't have BitLocker. So that's one of the reasons it's important to use BitLocker. So even if no, this not even supposed to be, yeah. So let me just quickly tell you guys. So even if maybe you did something illegal and someone is trying to analyze your this or something like that, he can't access it unless he bypasses this, which I believe advanced digital forensic specialists can do, but it's going to be hard for some digital forensics team. So for me personally, my laptop has, or my hard drive that's in my laptop has BitLocker enabled, so it's going to be difficult. So we have
Mr. Ibrahim, are you there? Are you there?
Is it just me? We can't hear Mr. Ibrahim.
Yeah, that's right. I want to confirm. Oh, you went
Okay,
off. It's network.
okay. So whatever it is, Mr. Sam,
Yeah.
can you wrap up the class so that we will just send the slides to the mentees, please. It's 12 minutes past time.
Yeah. The part that is trying to can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, but whatever it is, let's conclude, please. It is 12 minutes past time, please.
Okay. I think the part that he's
Yes.
trying to explain, let me just like let me cancel the screen then. So guys, when you're trying to ingest after creating image file with FTK Imager and you're trying to like ingest into autopsy. The main reason why I can't continue is because one, I don't have the image file of the one you want to use, and it takes time. Like autopsy really takes time. I have to like set it. Assuming I know that I'll be taking, I have to like set it beforehand. So you just follow through the process of you trying to like ingest into autopsy. Now, why do you want to use autopsy? As I've said, we want to use autopsy to be able to analyze um our investigation. Considering the USB file, let me just start from there. It did a forensic image on the USB file so that it can be able to get a replica, more like a twin of that particular forensic image. After making the twin, then it went back to ingest into autopsy to do the analysis. Now, in autopsy, while you're doing your analysis, you're trying to now see what are the deleted files in that USB. Everything that he said he deleted on the USB, like deliberately deleted the USB, he is going to like retrieve it back. Are there any file, are there any hidden file or probably any running processes inside a particular USB? You'll be able to get it without autopsy. And also you'll also be able to get some if there's any picture that seems suspicious, probably the picture actually houses a steganography means you're trying to like hide a document inside a picture or an extension. You know, every picture ends with dot PNG or .jpeg or something. So if a picture actually ends with .exe, that means it is an executable picture, not even a picture again. It is you do is execute, right? So that is the major thing there. And as a forensic analyst, you just get to know these particular processes often. But don't worry, I think if you have to like do a kind of short video, the recording, then you now send it will attach to this video. And I will also do the recording too and explain the process so that by the time you like check through the two, you'll be able to also understand much more better and deeper. Thank you, Ostos.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sam. Mr. Idris, thank you very much. This was a very wonderful session. And for the mentees, thank you for holding on. We are sorry for the time, and we hope you all learned a lot. So the files, the slides, the videos will be sent as soon as they are ready. So thank you, and then have a wonderful night. God bless you.